A weird convergence is happening right now. Everything that's not already television is turning into television. I know that sounds like a really weird way to start a talk for Christian leaders, but hang with me and I think you'll see what I'm talking about. When I say television, I'm not talking about the big black box in your living room. I'm talking about a world where everything from Facebook posts to podcasts to AI is turning into endless streams of moving images, a world where our minds are constantly entertained but rarely engaged. And if you lead others, whether in a church, a classroom, a business, or your own home, that shift is shaping the souls of the people that you're trying to lead. It's shaping you whether you realize it or not, because the screens that entertain us are also discipling us. I read an article by Derek Thompson that forced me to think this through. Let's start with Meta, the company behind Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. This summer, Meta was in a legal fight with the Federal Trade Commission, and in their defense, Meta made a stunning claim. They said, hey, we're not really a social media company. Wait, what are you talking about? You're not a social media company? Facebook, the company that built the idea of social media, says it's not a social media company anymore. Here's why. They admitted that only a tiny fraction of the time that people spend on Facebook or Instagram is actually spent being social. Only 7% of time that people spend on Instagram, 17% on Facebook. The rest, way more than 80%, is watching videos, mostly videos from strangers. So even the platform that was designed to connect us has quietly become a TV, except instead of 3 channels, it's got 3 billion, right? Maybe not quite that many, but think about what that means for the human heart. For your teenager, for your congregation, for you. We thought social media would help us stay connected to friends and family. Instead, it's connected us to a fire hose of strangers and their videos. What's the result? We're entertained, we're informed sometimes, hopefully this video is informing you, we're even inspired maybe, but we're also more distracted, we're more anxious, and we're more alone. And it's not just Facebook, even podcasts, which started as radio for the internet, are now turning into television. Think about it, podcasts were supposed to be about words. You'd go on a walk, you'd listen while you cooked or while you drove to work, you'd think deeply. But today, the most successful podcasts are on YouTube, by far the most successful podcasts. They're filmed with lights, with cameras, with production crews, with dramatic thumbnails. Industry analysts say that video podcasts are growing 20 times faster than audio-only podcasts. Why? Because we've become addicted to visual flow. And so even a medium that was built for quiet reflection, like a podcast, is being swallowed up by the glowing screen. It's as if every road in the media landscape leads to the same destination, and you guessed it, television, motion, constant stimulation. Then there's the latest twist. Meta just launched something called Vibes. OpenAI launched Sora. Both are AI-powered video generators, artificial intelligence that makes endless video content. And I've been using video generators just for fun for quite a while with Kling AI and others. But for instance, you type Donald Trump gives a TED Talk in outer space and boom, a video appears. Noah's Ark, but Pixar style. Boom, instantly generated. It's fascinating and it's terrifying because even artificial intelligence wants to become television. We're teaching machines to do what we can't stop doing ourselves, making more video. One tech analyst said, Sora feels like enabling everyone to be a TikTok creator. But here's the truth, 90% of people just watch. 9% remix what other people have done, and only 1% actually create. So in some ways, AI isn't creating a revolution of creativity, it's creating an avalanche of flow, an infinite river of moving images that most people will just drift along in. And I think that's what scares me, not the technology itself, but what it's doing to our attention, to our imagination, maybe even to our soul. There's a term in mathematics called an attractor. It's a state that everything in a system eventually drifts towards that attractor, like how a marble dropped in a bowl will spin around and eventually settle at the bottom. Well, media has an attractor too, and it's called television. It seems like no matter where media starts, whether it's a student directory like Facebook, podcast, an AI image generator, it eventually becomes a flowing stream of video. It becomes television. That's where we've landed. And here's the key insight. Television is not a medium of information as much as it's a medium of flow. Raymond Williams, who wrote Television, Technology, and Cultural Form, said television isn't about discrete pieces of content like a book or a sermon that starts and ends. Television is about continuous flow, something that never stops. And doesn't that feel a lot like your Instagram feed or TikTok or YouTube Shorts? There's no ending, no natural stopping point, just infinite scrolling and endless flow designed to keep you from noticing how much time is flowing out of you. And now television doesn't even expect us to pay attention anymore. Netflix producers literally tell writers, make sure that characters say what they're doing, because a lot of times people are half watching while they're scrolling their phones or while they're cooking a meal. We've entered the era of half watching, half listening, half living. There's even a Netflix genre called casual viewing, shows designed to be watched while you're doing the laundry, for instance. Think about that. We've created entertainment for distraction from our distractions. But here's the deeper spiritual problem. When you train your brain to half watch, you start to half listen, even to God. Sometimes we half pray, we half love. Maybe you feel like sometimes you half live. Our world is teaching us to be present everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And you as a Christian leader are called to push against that tide, to model what it means to be still and know that He's God. Ronald Putnam wrote the book Bowling Alone years ago, warning that television was making us lonelier. He found that as TV ownership rose, civic engagement, church attendance, volunteering, even dinner parties all fell. People gained extra leisure time, but they spent almost all of that time watching TV. And the internet was supposed to fix that. Do you remember the promise? Digital connection will bring us all together. Instead, the internet is now like super television. Endless screens, infinite distraction. Way more content than ever before in the history of the world, but way less connection. We are, to quote the data, lonelier, meaner, and dumber than ever before. Because the glow of the screen isolates even as it connects. It gives the illusion of community without the cost of commitment. That's why church attendance is down, for instance. Why people ghost relationships instead of reconciling. Why leaders burn out surrounded by all these followers. The medium itself is probably shaping us. Neil Postman warned us decades ago in Amusing Ourselves to Death. He said, every medium carries its own grammar. Television's grammar is emotion, immediacy, spectacle, and brevity. So when everything becomes television, everything starts to speak in that language. Politics becomes theater. News becomes performance. Even church can become a show if we're not careful. And I think that's what some of the mega churches have done. We stop thinking in paragraphs and we start thinking in scenes. We stop wrestling with truth and we start chasing what's emotionally memorable. That's why sermons get so much shorter. Why leaders feel pressure to be entertainers. Why attention spans shrink and discipleship feels harder than ever. Because the flow of video doesn't just reshape culture. Ultimately, it starts to reshape our lives and our souls. Let's make this really personal. When was the last time you read a book without ever checking your phone? When was the last time you sat in silence, really sat, and didn't reach for a screen? Our world is losing the capacity for inwardness, for reflection, for the ability to think deeply and critically. This is something God created us to do, to reflect, to be alone without being lonely. And that's a terrifying loss because that's where God speaks. Elijah didn't hear God in the wind or the earthquake. He heard Him in the still small voice. And if we fill our lives with flow, with television, with endless movement, endless video, endless noise, we might start to never hear the voice of God again. And Christian leader, I want you to hear me. The devil doesn't have to destroy you if he can just distract you. He doesn't have to tempt you into sin if he can tempt you into scrolling. So what do? You can't throw your phone into the ocean. You can't run away from the digital world. I mean, you need to be a leader in the digital world, but I think you can live differently in it than most other people are. Here are some things I want you to consider. Number one, create before you consume. God is a creator. You're made in His image. Every time you create something good, a sermon, a business, a podcast, a moment with your child, a helpful YouTube video, you push back against the endless passive flow. You're kind of swimming upstream instead of floating down it. Number two, guard your attention like treasure. Your attention is your life. Don't give it away cheaply. Schedule no flow zones. Mornings without screens, evenings of quiet, Sabbaths with no scrolling whatsoever. Number three, lead people into presence. Model what it means to be fully here. When you talk to someone, look them in the eyes. When you worship, sing like it's your last breath. When you rest, rest without guilt. Because when everything becomes television, you're called to be a living witness of the real. You don't have to curse the darkness, you just have to live in the light, right? Maybe someone around you will see the glow of your life, not from a screen, but from the Holy Spirit inside you, and they'll remember what it means to be fully alive again, to go for a walk. I'm hoping in just shortly here to go for a hike in the woods at Paris Mountain State Park with my kids. Everything's turning into television, but not everything has to. You don't have to give in to that pressure. Your home doesn't have to turn into television. Your church doesn't have to turn into television. The marble might be rolling towards the bottom of the bowl, but you and I serve a God who can flip the bowl upside down. So stay awake, stay wise, stay in God's word, and lead with your eyes fixed, not on the glow of 1,000 screens, but on the light of the world Himself. Fix your eyes on Him. Fix your eyes on Jesus. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this to be helpful. Maybe it'll get you thinking more about how the whole world is kind of turning into television. You taking the time to watch means a lot to me. If you really liked it, you could leave a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel or share it with a friend. Thanks again, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day rejoicing in Jesus.